Welcome back to Twin Formula One. We're talking about Shanghai, China, round two of the Formula One season, where I personally think it was a really good race. There are a lot of people that think otherwise, and we'll get into those reasons. And I do agree with some of them. I think that you have to take Formula One as it is when it comes out, and then you change it when you need to. And I do think that they will need to change these new regulations in order for everybody, including drivers, to be happy on one end of the spectrum, and then there are going to be other drivers and other fans that really enjoy this, because this race had really good racing in it. There is no doubt about that. But the way that they're going racing isn't how everyone wants it to be. They don't think, or some people don't think, that it's pure racing anymore. So, and I agree with that to a certain extent. But yeah, we're going to get into it. But we'll start off with the fact that Kimi Antonelli has become the second youngest driver in F1 history to win a race. He's won his maiden race in China, which is really amazing, especially because there's been a lot of talk about whether or not he's too young and all of this kind of rubbish when Toto Wolff decided to bring him in after losing Lewis Hamilton to Ferrari. And he was amazing. George Russell struggled through qualifying with issues not of his own, and he ended up being second in qualifying, and that put him on the back foot basically. And Kimi Antonelli obviously has taken advantage of that, and as he should. He is the second driver in the best car on the grid. So I think the racing was good, up and down the grid, for the most part. For the most part, anyway. The beginning of the race, was as expected. The Ferraris dominated the starts, absolutely took off. And Hamilton took the lead basically, pretty much instantly, and had a little battle back and forth with Kimi, and the same with Russell actually dropped back 2 positions, but it was a bit of a madness. I loved the racing at the beginning. I wish that these other cars were quicker so that they could be involved. But the racing up front and the midfield was actually good. There's no doubt about that. Now, before I will get into the racing, but this is where the problems are and why people are unhappy, and I can understand why, especially when it comes to the drivers. I mean, there were 7 non-finishers in this race, and you would think, okay, there's been some crashes and stuff like that. Not one single crash in this Grand Prix. You had Alex Albon didn't start the race. Gabriel Bortoleto didn't start the race, and both McLarens didn't start the race. It's not good. Williams had some kind of hydraulic issue. Audi has been having issues with their car. They got this new engine, brand new to Formula One, and they have been struggling. It's a shame it was Gabriel Bortoleto. He scored points though in the last race, so you can understand it's not good, but they are already on the board. Nico Hülkenberg did start the race in the other Audi, and he ended up 11th. So I mean, it's a fast car, but the reliability isn't there. Now, Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris not even making the grid. That was a shock. I mean, they were right up there, ready to fight for this win, I think, and it just didn't happen. They didn't even get to the grid. Both had separate issues, both relating to the battery, I think. And I know that they have a Mercedes engine, but you cannot blame the Mercedes engine for their failure. You just can't. Like, I know there's like Williams is a Mercedes, so that's one, and then you got both McLaren, Mercedes. So, but you have 5 Mercedes in the top 10. So it's not just like engine issues, it's chassis issues, it's development issues, it's a lot of different issues that they're going to have to work out. I thought they had made a step and like something's happened. I think it's completely out of their control, and I think it will be fixed for Japan. Like, I can't see there being a massive issue with them. Where there is a massive issue is Aston Martin. Yeah, I mean, they did not do well. Like, Lance Stroll did 9 laps and he DNF'd through mechanical failures. As far as I know, it was mechanical failures with Lance Stroll. Fernando Alonso did 32 laps, and I'm not joking, there are shots of him going down the straight with his hands off of the steering wheel because the car is vibrating that hard that he cannot hold on, or it hurts too much to hold on to his own car, and he had to retire the car, which is really disappointing. I'm surprised that Aston Martin, I don't really understand how they have gone this bad. It's actually very, very bad. And then probably the biggest shocker is Max Verstappen could not finish the race. He had some kind of issues. They didn't really get into it at the time. He did 45 laps and DNF'd. No crashes, no nothing like that. He reiterated that he doesn't like this formula. He doesn't think it is racing. He doesn't think the fans think it's racing, and he's not the only one. Like, there's been comments like this from like Charles Leclerc saying that he's like playing Mario Karts, and even Perez saying similar things. But you know, I think they have to deal with it for now. Red Bull have a responsibility to fix this car. They can definitely do this. Like, they've been all of them have been in the points. All 4. When I say all 4, I mean the Red Bulls and the Racing Bulls. So it's only the second race. This is going to take time. You have Japan in 2 weeks, and then you have the whole of April off because they're cancelling the Middle East races for obvious reasons. And yeah, I think that break will probably do them some good. They can start figuring out some stuff. I think they'll get as much data as they can from Japan and go from there. But yeah, so I mean, pretty disappointing race for those 7. And then Sergio Perez in the Cadillac and Valtteri Bottas, that they were 15th and 13th. So essentially, they are last because all of those cars would have finished in front of them if they had actually started, except they didn't, which means they're in 13th and 15th. Esteban Ocon came in 14th. I'm sure he's actually very disappointed with that. I don't think he scored any points yet for Haas. And his teammate is doing absolutely incredible. His teammate, Ollie Behrman, is in 5th, which is brilliant. He's beaten all the Red Bulls. Yeah, I mean, he's having a really, really strong season. And yeah, I mean, the Haas has the Ferrari powertrain, which is definitely a good unit. Like, it's surprising how good this Ferrari is. Yeah, so Valtteri Bottas, yeah, in 13th, and then Arvid Lindblad had problems all throughout this weekend. Like, it's been non-stop for him, and there were more problems in the race. He ended up having to pit early and spun out. Like, he ended up in 12th, which isn't too bad. He put some fight in, but yeah, he was nowhere really. Already mentioned that Hulkenberg in the Audi had got an 11th. Um, and then Alpine, who I was really impressed with last week with Gasly. But in 10th place, you got Franco Colapinto, which is amazing. Like I've always thought he was really fast, and he got put into a really bad car. He scored points when he came in as a substitute, and he was really good. And then he made a few crashes when he was at the Williams. And then they had a very, very bad car last year, and they've made a step. They have the Mercedes engine, and Pierre Gasly and Franco Colapinto are driving the socks off of that car. Really good news for Williams. Now, I do think it's bad as well because Alex Albon didn't even start the race, but Williams have Carlos Sainz in 9th. So they got a couple of points. So they actually did good. Like, considering how bad they are, like they've made a fairly big step, but they were a lap behind. Like, the gaps are still fairly big. They're just closing down slightly at the front, and hopefully more in the coming weeks. Isaac Hadjar in the in the Red Bull, sorry. He was over a minute behind the leaders in 8th. I mean, he got his 4 points, but he couldn't beat the Racing Bulls of Liam Lawson, who came in 7th, which is really good for him. He's having a great year as well. He's getting points everywhere. He got 6 points. Pierre Gasly, like I said, with the Alpine and the Mercedes power unit, absolutely amazing. He's doing really good. He's one of my biggest surprises. And I think Oliver Bearman in 5th is my biggest surprise. He's scoring really big points for that team. And he's doing it by himself. And it's really impressive. And he is, he's a Ferrari Academy driver. He's like literally driving a Ferrari power unit now. When eventually Lewis does decide to retire, I'm pretty sure that seat is going to be Oliver Bearman's. I mean, that's what they've been building him up for. He's a really good kid. Got a good sense of who he is, I think. He knows how to drive. He's very aggressive, but fair. And I'm really enjoying watching him drive this year. Now, the top 4, Charles Leclerc in 4th, which means Lewis Hamilton got his first podium with Ferrari, which is really impressive. The battles that were going on between those cars, those 4, and like the battles seem to be contained into groups. So it's like 5th to like 8th, and then 9th to like 12th. They had their own groups and they were battling. Like, unfortunately, the gaps were pretty big, and even with the Ferraris, to be fair, they were 25 seconds behind the leader. But at the beginning of the race, it was amazing. George Russell did drop back a couple of positions, but he ended up in 2nd, behind his teammate Kimi Antonelli, who's now the 2nd youngest driver ever to win a Formula 1 Grand Prix, which is amazing. Really is, and he's like the youngest ever pole sitter in Formula 1 history. George Russell struggled, but came back to 2nd, which is really good. It keeps the lead in the championship. Lewis Hamilton getting that Ferrari podium was really special. And obviously, there's the link. Like, Lewis Hamilton built that team. And Charles Leclerc was behind Lewis for the first time in a race for the podium. And they had a great battle. They both said that they really enjoyed the fighting. Charles Leclerc loved it. Says he wants to do more of it. I think they're the only ones fighting for this championship. I think it's going to be a struggle for a lot of people. Kimi Antonelli, as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, he didn't this week. He's got a shot. It's an outside chance because George Russell's so good, but he has a shot at winning this championship. That's for sure. I'm really looking forward to it. Like, this whole season is good. I just want everyone to close the gap so that we can get racing throughout. And we can sort these start procedures out and sort out when you're doing the super clipping and all this crazy stuff that you never even heard of before, in order to overtake people with the overtake modes, the boost modes, super clipping, clipping. It's all a little bit mental at the minute, trying to figure it out. But the racing, when they're close to each other, if they're the same, similar kind of speeds, the racing is good. I think it will get better. I think you'll get more cars obviously starting, and I think Japan's going to be a really good race. It's a fast track. The Ferraris are fast. The Mercedes are dominant, but the Ferraris are making steps each time. I think that was just a mistake from McLaren. It was it's just an anomaly. Like 2 cars going out before the race starts, and 2 completely separate issues. So I think they'll be back in it as well. Hopefully some other teams, Haas looks quick. They've got that Ferrari power unit. Alpine looks quick. They've got the Mercedes power unit. So yeah, it's going to be good. Looking forward to it. Hope you are too. If you like this video, hit the like button. Subscribe to Twin Formula 1. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about the race. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.